Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is Monday night, and this is our transfer show. Joining me, as always, on the show, my partner on these shows, the Dazzler himself, Darren. How are we, Darren?
I'm all right, Noel. Noel,
Good, good.
can you
Yep,
see me?
I can see you.
You know what's happening tonight, Noel, don't you?
I do know what's happening tonight.
It's the return, the 20-year return of
The
our
main man is
boy.
back.
The main man is back tonight on Raw. I will have little dark circles around my eyes in the morning because I ain't sleeping until I see Cena. And if that means 4 o'clock in the last segment, that's what that means.
Surely they're going to bring him on first, aren't they, and pump the ratings, no?
You have to. They absolutely have to. And do me a favour and let me get to bed for about 1:15 as well. That'd be amazing.
C Nation Army in the house, so.
The doctor of Thugonomics is joining us tonight, and he's going to be prescribing a
Absolutely.
beatdown. Oh,
Plenty
quality.
of those. Should we mention those STFUs, no?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, this is our transfer show, our weekly one. We're bringing it. This is our second live show, so we said we go live on these shows, because they seem to be going really, really well. So we've got plenty to talk about tonight. If you want to contact the show, get into the comments there, live, or if you want to come on the show, I'm going to be dropping the link in the comments shortly. We're also going to be doing a giveaway tonight, Darren. So during the show, I want you to come up with the question this time, not me.
Okay.
It's only fair. You might have noticed behind me there, Darren, I added a few more jerseys to our wager there, so you have your choice. I've added Konate, Thiago, and Diogo Jota, so it's all good.
You
Morris is
know,
just.
I'm a big fan of Konate, don't you? But I couldn't do that big bird canary yellow.
Don't know. It might be all right walking into McDonald's. It's all good. You might get an offer. Who knows? Morris.
I've been
Morris
in,
is in.
I've
Morris.
been into
Morris.
McDonald's too many times. That's the problem.
No, yeah. Morris is in the chat. How we doing, Morris? Good to hear from you. GP Productions. Get over there. Check that out. Hit the like, subscribe, everything over there. Some great content. He's
Are
dropping
we
stuff on a daily basis now.
are we gonna say he's our favourite gooner, or does he have to share that accolade with Del Boy?
I don't know. It's a kind of a balancing act at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's say he's probably our favourite, more level-headed gooner.
Yes. Yeah.
But I
Oh,
would recommend at the moment, go out there, Del Boy Gunner TV. Check that out. Derek's over there. He's absolutely tearing it up at the moment with some fantastic videos. Keeps me entertained on a regular basis. So check it out. Get over there. Subscribe to his channel as well. He's en route to 1,000 subs, so he wants to get monetized. So help him as much as you can. Also, Morris absolutely blasting out content. Dropped a little interview today he did with a Limp Biscuit, no doubt, and he's going
saw
over
that.
this.
Was it Frank Carino?
That's the one, yeah. And he's going over to check out Limp Bizkit in the Netherlands, over in Amsterdam soon. And not only that, they've put him on the VIP list. So hats off to Morris doing a quality job.
Gonna do a little name drop. A friend of mine went over to Vegas recently for one of the AEW shows and managed to see Limp Bizkit live in Vegas. Keen Bushell, Kane's the man from the Keno 316, the Rock Cena. Remember his sign was in the middle of the ring when the two boys came face to face. He still has that sign. He's had a few offers on it, but I don't think he's ever going to shift it. Big shout out to Keno. He's a big United fan as well. He travels all over following Ireland and the UFC.
Excellent. I think I know Kano. He would have
You
been a
do.
regular in the shop as well prior to COVID and
Absolutely.
stuff like that as well. And I think actually his mum and his sister drop in on a regular basis to pick up stuff from him as well. So hats off. Big shout out to Kane. Right, let's talk transfers. Where do we begin? It's like someone lit the fuse on Friday and it took off at the weekend and we arrived at Monday. Some serious talk going out there at the moment. Let's get your view first of all. Let's. I know it's become a little bit boring and stale at this side, but let's talk about this guy here, Frankie De Jong. Um, what did you make of last night then? Them coming out linking Maguire to it as well. What was this nonsense like that? Apparently they were looking for Maguire as part of the package.
There's absolutely no way Barcelona looked at how bad our squad is and decided of all the shit footballers we have, Harry Maguire is what they wanted. Like, even look at what they have in that position. They've got the boy Clement Long. They've got Gerard Piqué. They've got the boy Ronald Aranjo, and they've got like Samuel Ntiti, guys who can't get into the team, right? And they were apparently looking at Harry Maguire, not a chance. I call bullshit on that one. I really do. And the only thing I can think of that possibly would have even brought this to light is maybe the fact that, Barca were thinking we could lowball the shit out of Maguire and still take him in and have, like, let's get 50 plus Maguire, knowing that we spend big bucks on him. And in Spain, pace isn't really a big issue because of how slow they are in playing.
Yeah, do you know the only thing? I was thinking two things last night when I seen it. Apart from the obvious one, which was nonsense, but I was thinking, imagine if we had to live in a football world where we see Harry Maguire wearing that famous jersey. And I mean, that was one thing. But the second thing I thought of, and it was something that you brought up on last week's show, was, is this a way of them getting players across the line, considering the trouble that they're in financially and stuff like that? Is it treated in a different way where you have a player who's part of a deal going in? Is there a different registration mechanism or something like that, and it's an easier way for them to get players across the line or something like that? I wasn't too sure on the mechanics of it.
No, I don't know, to be honest with you. I understand what you're saying, all right, that any money that comes into the club has to go off debts and has to go off payments and stuff like that. But if the player comes in as part of a transfer fee, they can only give that part of the transfer fee, and then the player obviously goes straight into the squad for registration. But I still think there's got to be, like, if you look at what they're proposing to do from Chelsea with the free agents, like you're talking Marcos Alonso, Christensen, and Cesar Azpilicueta, they're not going to add another centre back in there, and least of all Harry Maguire. Like this, I don't know where it came from, but I smell something, and it's not what the Rock is cooking.
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose if we thought that was absolute rubbish, this one's going to trigger you a little bit in terms of rubbish. George Mendes had a meeting with one Todd Bowley, and this talk came out the other day. I can't imagine him moving away from United. Like, he has a year to go on that contract, plus there's a 12-month option after that, isn't there? So potentially 2 years, I think.
There's absolutely no way he leaves United and goes from our Premier League team. Absolutely no way. And he said that pretty much himself prior.
Yeah, like, I think it would tarnish. It would if he went at this moment and stuff like that and went to Chelsea, would it tarnish the legacy a little bit?
Absolutely, it would. And I mean, when he came back in, obviously there was the hysteria of, he's coming home and stuff like that and everything. But we weren't really sure what we were going to get. Now, like, listen, there was times last season when I certainly wasn't overly impressed with his work rate and with what he brought to the team. I felt like at times when he played, we played with 10 men. But the one thing you can't take away from the guy is, he popped up with an awful lot of goals for us, goals in critical moments, goals to win us games, and he still knows where the back of the net is. Now, if we can start playing a better brand of football this season, creating more chances, what can he do? Like you've seen Erik ten Hag last season. I think Sebastian Haller got 34 goals. Now, Sebastian Haller couldn't lace Cristiano Ronaldo's boots. So if you can get Sebastian Haller 34 goals in all competitions, albeit in the Dutch league, I'd say you've got a good spin of getting Ronaldo 30 in the Premier League, the FA Cup, the Carabao, and Europa. And that'd be massive for us this season.
Yeah, no, it's a good shout, all right, absolutely. I couldn't see. It came out today, then there was more information on it saying that they were meeting up because obviously we know that Mendes, he represents so many players across the spectrum of European football. And they were saying that they were meeting on other stuff as well. But Ronaldo, of course, would have come into the conversation. But I couldn't see a situation where Ronaldo dirties his bib like that. I just couldn't see it.
Here's the thing.
Do you see a situation where he moves to Europe? No? You think he's going to stay, do you?
Oh, he's absolutely staying. He's not going anywhere. Yeah. There's no way he's going anywhere. But if he was to go anywhere, he goes to the States. Other than the States, it's back to Sporting. which is where he said he'd want to finish his career. I don't see him going to Sporting just yet, but I think there's still space for him in like, you know, the MLS and stuff like that.
Morris reckons no way he would get in ahead of Mount.
Thankfully, he plays as a 9 and he won't need to go in ahead of Mount. I mean, it's not like Chelsea don't need a 9 after what they've had to endure with Lukaku over the last 12 months. Did we call that one, by the way?
Lukaku?
Yeah.
I didn't call it. I got it totally wrong.
You thought it was going to be amazing, did you?
Yeah, I came out, if you remember back in August, I came out and I said he was the missing piece in the jigsaw. He was absolutely going to be electric. He was going to score a bag load of goals, and he could be the missing piece for Chelsea to push on and win the title. I fancied Chelsea to win the title last season.
It was just me that called it.
I have to put that out there. No, you called it. Ted called it. Greg called it. Yeah. Look. The Man United lads on our WhatsApp group, you all called it and said, listen, the leopard doesn't change the spots and all that kind of thing, you know. So you were spot on.
It's not like, listen, we all have opinions on this, you know, and I firmly believe he goes back to Italy this season and looks like a different player again. You know, I just think styles make matchups and stuff like that, and I just don't think his style suits the Premier League. I think what you get from him and the way he wants to bully players and stuff like that, I think you'll do that a little more on the continent. You know, I think in the Premier League, you'll come up against a James Tarkowski. He'll go, bully me, go for it. And all of a sudden, Lukaku goes, Jesus, well, if I can't bully him and, you know, and I can't out-muscle him and I can't do this, I can't, what am I left with? You know, so I think at times with certain players playing in the likes of Serie A and La Liga just suits guys a little bit better because we know the pace of that Premier League and we know how physical it is. And it's just not for everybody. Look at I'm not taking a pop shot. Look at Paul Pogba. Like I don't think we could say after 5 years at United that the Premier League suited Paul Pogba and the pace of play and the physicality of it and the style. You know, like yeah, he had flashes, but he struggled to keep up with the rigors of the Premier League massively. And I mean, prior to that at Juve and his time with France and stuff like that, he was talked about as one of the best midfielders in the world. It'll be interesting to see. Again, I think he'll have a massive renaissance back at Juve because, again, I think it's a style of play that's a lot slower, will suit him a lot better. He can dominate the midfield a lot more. He didn't get that opportunity in England. And I just think some players just aren't suited to that style.
Yeah, I just want to put it out there for the record as well. I took one for the team at the weekend when you were all going about your business, having a good time and stuff like that. I endured that Pogmentary. I just want to say I endured all, I think either 5 or 6 episodes of it, okay? And
you're a brave man.
I tell you, man, not even Rotten Tomatoes could rate it. I'm just putting it out there now. And I like those. I like all the football documentaries.
Yeah, so do I. I'll tell you how much I liked them. I was on a flight to Abu Dhabi a number of years ago and I watched the Man City one. And I genuinely went, that was all right. I enjoyed that. You know, don't fancy watching City every week, but I enjoyed the documentary. It was quite good. But I saw some of the reviews on the Pogmentary and I thought I couldn't deal with that.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I took one for the team. I tell you what I am looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the Arsenal one coming out. Probably more so than a lot of the Arsenal fans, I'd say. What you thinking on that? Do you think we get all the Aubameyang stuff and everything and the Arteta stuff?
You'd have to hope so. I mean, look at what. Did you watch any of the Spurs one?
Loved it.
Spurs
Danny Rose, Dele Alli, brilliant.
Everything. Spurs stuff was amazing. You know, really was great seeing the day-to-day stuff and you know how they go about things and you know the conversations and stuff like that was just brilliant. I have to say. So yeah, really, really looking forward to the Arsenal. There's a Juve one. I've watched the Juve one. I've watched the Man City one. Yeah. Obviously, we've watched the Sunderland Till I Die. There's a lot of them. There's quite a few of them, and they're very good.
The Fergie one was brilliant, I have to say. Fergie one was really,
a lot
really
of good ones, a lot of really good ones. But I wouldn't give the Pogba one the time of day now. I have to be honest with you.
Yeah, well. You brought up the idea of America and the MLS, so we have to discuss this one. This one kind of came out of nowhere, didn't it?
Really didn't it? Because there was all the links with Cardiff City, wasn't there? And they were talking about, you know, he's going to come home and he's going to play for the Bluebirds and they're going to attract this kind of a player and that kind of a player, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, boom, he's gone to LA, and you just think, can't really blame the guy. It's got to be some good golf courses there in a bit of weather, isn't there?
Yeah, I seen the picture. Did you see the picture they put up the other day of the three boys? I think it was himself, Chiellini, and Vela, was it? Or Velo? Vela?
Yeah,
Vela.
yeah.
Yeah, the three of them in the picture
And
there. And go on, yeah.
it really looks well. I mean, like, that's frightening to think of those three boys in a team together like that. You know what I mean? You've got some blistering pace and some goals up front. And you got Chiellini obviously at the back who'll really shore things up, won't he?
It must be great to be to be at that level of kind of prestige in the game, and you turn around and like 1 minute you're playing for Real Madrid, you go back to Spurs on loan, and the next thing you're off to the glitz and the Hollywood and everything of LA, where they'll
Yeah,
treat you like a proper star and stuff like that and all. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
yeah,
You know who the biggest soccer star over there at the minute is? Actually Chicharito,
yeah, I
who,
seen that. Yeah,
who floundered a lot at United and West Ham and other places like this. It was a great goal scorer at United, but obviously the all-round play wasn't there. But he's quite regularly on, the Tonight Show or the Saturday night, Friday night show, whatever it is, with James Corden and all that, Saturday Night Live. And he's loved and revered over there.
yeah. No, it's pretty cool.
So
It's great move.
I don't have any issues with Gareth Bale. I have to say, he's never played for a team that I was supporting, so he never pissed me off, But it might be nice for him to go over there and maybe not feel the heat so much, because, like, for a guy who won an awful lot of Champions Leagues and was involved in an awful lot of trophy win at Real, his stats are quite good, and like, he's never really had the backing of the Madrid fans. So I think it'd be nice for him to go over here. Can't imagine those LA fans aren't going to be anything but thankful that he's there, and they're going to treat him like that,
Yeah, Morris, he's obviously getting paid a good wage, and he can live the celeb life over there, win-win. And let me tell
100%.
you, the golf courses over there are spectacular.
Yeah,
All up along that
absolutely.
west coast. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so we wish him well. He's going to do well. There's no doubt about it. He'll be a success over there. Um,
We'll say hello to the motherland to him in September
yeah,
when we head to
absolutely.
Cardiff. We might wear our Gareth Bale, Real Madrid jersey walking around just to piss off all the locals.
Or we could get the new LAFC one. Looks pretty
Absolutely. The
sweet
back of the
there on
goal.
him.
Look, it does.
Yeah,
It does. Yeah, yeah.
looks well on him. Our build might be a little bit different
I
though
was
when we
going to
put
say,
it
yeah,
on.
does it come on our size?
Well, it's over in the States. They're
We'll go
bound
to
to
the
have our
big.
size,
We'll
aren't
go
they?
to the big and tall section. We'll have a look.
Just order a medium on the US side. We'll be all good. What was I going to say to you? Something we spoke about the other day on the transfer show. We spoke about Arsenal getting Jesus over the line. Great
Yeah,
signing for them.
yeah.
Brilliant. But we did speak about Rafinha as well, and there was talk today that they've backed out of the chase for Rafinha now. I think the money has escalated heavily, up into the mid 60s, isn't it now at this stage?
I think Leeds are looking for about 65 million, aren't they?
Yeah,
Now I don't know if they're willing to do some sort of a flat payment and add-ons and stuff like that, but they certainly want the package to be in around that 65, 70 million. And that's going to count an awful lot of people out. I know obviously there's other clubs that are interested, let's say, but again, that's huge outlay. If you're talking about Barcelona, and obviously they've been interested for quite a while in them, they're not going to be able to get a deal done at that level, especially when they're struggling to get a deal done for Lewandowski at that 50 million mark. They don't have the cash for that. They're having to sell De Jong so they can finance the debt, the payments and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a lot of money for a guy like Rafinha. I think Rafinha's a great player. I'd love him at United. I've said it a number of times last season, but I don't know. I don't know if he's very similar to a lot of the players that they have at Arsenal. And I don't know whether I'd prefer to see something else. Like maybe if I was an Arsenal fan, and I suppose Morris can answer this maybe if he's still there. Would
yeah.
you like to see another midfielder? Because it's an area where they struggled. Would you like to see, obviously, they bought the boy Vieira, but would you like to go out and see them get another maybe defensive midfielder to shore up in front of that back four rather than another one of those kind of skillful, tricky wingery players, which they seem to have an abundance of?
Yeah, no, it's a good show. Yeah, I have to agree with Morris on this one. I think when it gets up into that level of money, I think it's a bit too much. Um, as you said, where they already have players there already, that maybe they should be looking at somewhere else.
There
Morris
you go.
reckons. Yeah,
Yeah, he's just hit us up there. He says, I think we need a DM, defensive midfielder. It's literally just what I've said. And a left and a right back. I think the boy Kieran Tierney and the boy Tommy Asu were very, very good. Problem is they're not making it onto the pitch enough times. Kieran Tierney just seems to be, made a Lego. He's like Phil Jones or something. The boy Tomiyasu, the injury was a rough injury that he got, but I have to say until then he'd been quite good and he came back into the fold. But if I'm an Arsenal fan, I want to make sure that I have another right back that I don't have to look at Cedric in there because I think he's a liability.
Yeah, I think with Tierney, it's a shame, isn't it? Because he's such a baller, isn't he? I mean, he's a proper,
Yeah,
like, and when you
absolutely
say
is.
him, he absolutely wears whatever jersey he's wearing right on his heart, on his sleeve.
Yeah,
Gives you 100% every single time, So,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. It's a shame. Um, where else we want to go? West Ham. Very interesting.
Well,
David.
before you go to West Ham, I want to segue
Yeah,
from one tricky Brazilian winger to another,
yeah.
where we heard about Tottenham trying to put a package deal together for Richarlison and the boy Anthony Gordon from Everton.
Mm,
They're apparently working on a deal to take both of them to Spurs.
mm.
Now, that would be a massive loss to Frank Lampard, if you're asking me. Like, the boy Anthony Gordon's homegrown player, been very, very good. Especially over the last kind of 8 to 12 games where they really needed bodies and lads were out injured and stuff like that. And then obviously you've Richarlison, who's pretty much Everton's talisman. I know you're not a huge fan of his, but they're two big players at Everton. And I mean, other than the likes of getting 100 million in the door for the two boys and being able to buy maybe 4 or 5 additions to the squad, I think this is a bad move from Everton, I have to tell you.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a kind of a weird one, isn't it? They got out of jail at the end of the season there, really, didn't they?
Yeah.
And it looks like there's some financial trouble there coming down the line, isn't there?
Yeah,
So,
saw that all right. Yeah, there's a certain amount of money that has to leave the building, or apparently the FA are going to get involved in the Premier League, and they
hmm,
could be looking at a points deduction.
yeah, and it looks like, I mean, there's no doubt about the boy Gordon. I mean, he's a very good player.
Really good player.
And Richarlison is as well. It's not, I suppose my pain with Richarlison is not so much the player, it's more so, it's probably more the human being than it is the player. I just find him so unlikable. But I mean, if you're talking in terms of football, you have to park that. It can't be that way. You know what I mean? But I just don't know about him. I just think,
I've had to do it on multiple occasions with Roy Keane.
yeah, yeah, it's that kind of conundrum, isn't it? Where you know that there's bags of talent there. You know he's an absolute brilliant footballer. But it's whether you'd want him in your team or not. I don't know whether I'd even want him as a teammate, that kind of way. I know at times you need teammates like that. They'll go to war and get stuck in and do all that kind of dirty stuff
Yeah,
that needs to be done as well.
he's
But I
he's
just,
he's probably the kind of guy that if he's in your jersey, you absolutely love him, but if he wears any other color, you absolutely hate him.
yeah.
And to be honest with you, as a United fan, and this obviously doesn't just come back to the everything, I would have felt like that about Luis Suarez, and this was before anything. He was just one of those guys that he was just a nasty little piece of shit, and
Mm.
and that's again. But if I'm a Liverpool fan, I love that. I love him because and I'm sure there's been guys in United jerseys over the years that really irked you. But again, you would have thought, geez, if he put a Liverpool jersey on, I'd have a bit of that.
Do you know who used to drive me mad?
I'm gonna
And you won't
guess.
believe this. No, you
I
won't.
will. I
You
will.
definitely won't. 100% you won't guess this. Because
Is
I
it
tell you,
United player?
no, no,
All right.
not at
Okay. Fair
all.
enough.
Do you know who used to drive me insane? And Morris will love this. Robert Pires. Robert Pires was the epitome of shithousery. Remember when he used to goad lads and stuff like that and all?
Yeah.
Remember that way he
Not a
had
fan of
about himself?
Pires, huh?
No, unbelievable as a footballer.
Yeah.
Unbelievable as a
Oh,
footballer. But remember, he used to get up in people's faces and he'd be and all this kind of thing. He'd be goading them and all. And he used to drive me mad. And I used to look at him and go, God, I'd love to be on a pitch against him. I'd absolutely wallop him. But yeah, he was one who used to really get my goat up at times. It was mad, Um, what do you reckon? Everton let them go. Morris reckons surely they won't let them go. I don't know whether, I think if they decide that they want to go, it's very hard for Everton to kind of hang on to, isn't it?
it is when Tottenham come knocking at the door and they've got, possibly between 80 and 100 million on the table for these two lads, and they can offer Champions League football, the London lifestyle, and a reasonable wage. I mean, what are you going to do? Say no? Highly unlikely, I would have
What
thought.
I suppose before we get on to West Ham, on the subject of Tottenham, what do you think of this?
Hmm.
Daniel Levy and Conte, and they're in tandem, and they're chasing down deals, and they're bringing guys in. It's a serious relationship there now, isn't it? I mean, he was ready to walk away 4 months ago.
He was, but I think Levy's been very, very clever here. I think if you look around at what Conte was able to achieve at various different teams, obviously at Juve, at Chelsea, and obviously he goes to Inter then he comes back as far as Spurs. He obviously puts Spurs into the top four race, gets them a spot. Levy's going, where do we go from here? I either back him or he walks, and if he walks, I don't get anything like what he is to back in. You know what I mean? So he has to keep him at all costs, 100%.
Yeah, Morris
There
just
you
hit the
go.
nail
Look,
on the head there
Morris
with
is
that one.
yeah, Morris is yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah, it's
spot on.
it's
Yeah,
it's it's
it's,
100%. I think
well, I
it's a marriage
suppose.
of convenience rather than anything, isn't it?
Yeah, but you could see a situation. I mean, could you see a situation where he brings silverware? Definitely.
Spurs Spurs could absolutely win a cup this season.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, they could, because I
Yeah,
mean on their day, we've seen them rattle a couple of teams. And you know, they've done it a couple of times at City and stuff like that. I can see Morris. Listen, I don't think it's what Morris wants to hear, but I think I think it's plausible. Let's put it that way.
yeah, absolutely. I think so as well. Um, that's enough now. We better be careful here with Morris. That's enough of the Tottenham love in from us at the moment.
We'll go to the other side of London. We'll talk about West Ham.
We're going to talk about West Ham big time. Everyone knows our love of David Moyes at West Ham over the last season. He's been absolutely spectacular. But making moves for one, Arnaud Danjuma, no less, a guy that we really like.
I've talked about this kid an awful lot over the last maybe 18 months. This would be a huge statement of intent from West Ham. Something I didn't realise was the buyout clause, which is less than 40 million. Now, that is in today's market value. He plays on, let's just think about this logically. You're Spurs and you're about to shell out 65 million for Richarlison, and you can get Arnaud Danjuma for just under 40. You save
Yeah,
yourself 25 million. I'm a fan of Richarlison, but I think for 25 million less, I take Danjuma every
in a
single day of the
heartbeat.
week and twice on a Sunday.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that talk of this shouldn't have even got out. They should have just went and signed him. They shouldn't have
Yeah,
said that and
100%.
just go, sign him, nail down the contract, say nothing, and then brag about it. Because you know something, I think now that this has got
Yeah,
out, a lot of teams have been alerted to this now, and that's where
absolutely.
West Ham could come untangled. Um,
Absolutely. I think the likes of Arsenal, if they pass on Rafinha, they'll look at Danjuma. I think United will look at Danjuma. I think Newcastle, who we mentioned, we thought that might be his home. Obviously, the links with Eddie Howe, he's an ex-Bournemouth player. Newcastle will look at him. I think Chelsea will look at him. I think there's a lot of teams will look at this boy for just under 40 million euro and go, this is a big, big player, this kid.
yeah. Cheers, Morris. Thanks for tuning in. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, pal.
Cheers, bud.
Good chat, Morris.
They're also linked. It's kind of a tree deal at the moment that they're linked with. Obviously, Jesse Lingard is in there. There's ongoing talks.
Yes.
I think that would be a great move for Jesse. I think the time he spent there was really, really good. Was refreshing. I think he delivered a lot to West Ham, and I think he still has a lot to offer in that environment. But the other one that they're linked with as well is Armando Broja. Uh, but the talk of this is this might be tied into a deal for Rice going the other way.
Yeah, I haven't listen. I haven't heard as much about the Rice side of things. Obviously, West Ham are very, very interested and had apparently put a 30 million bid down on the table. Now, I got to tell you, I think there's great value in Brozier for 30 million. Great value. He's a young lad. He moves well. He's got good feet. He heads the ball. He holds the ball up well. He runs the channels. I don't think there's a lot this kid can't do. At 30 million at his age, I think this is a snip. Now I can see how, Chelsea would like to say, listen, we'll get involved here. We'll get involved in this deal, and we'll put we'll put him in there for you. We'll give you what you're after. We'll give you Broja, but we'll give you Broja and we'll give you 30, 40, 45 million. And we want Declan Rice out of it. It would be a huge signing for Chelsea. I think that would be Chelsea's marquee signing, because I have to say, and I know there's a lot of people that disagree with me on this, I think the boy Rice is absolutely right out of the top drawer.
Yeah.
This kid is unbelievable. And we've seen him in the Premier League week to week. He's consistently, as you said, with those better players, he's consistently a 7 or an 8 every single week. You don't see him have bad games. He's got a great engine. He can pass the ball. He's very intelligent as a footballer. We know there's an awful lot of stupid footballers out there. The boy Rice is not. He's a very intelligent footballer on the ball, controls the tempo of the game. I think he's tops, I have to be honest with you. And I think he'd be amazing in front of that back four of Chelsea.
Yeah, I also made the point. It's kind of like the situation we find ourselves in with Jude Bellingham, where we're saying that our transfer business is done now and we're going to wait to try and sign Jude Bellingham. And it's the same thing, isn't it? If you wait, I think Declan Rice is going to be another player who's going to have a huge World Cup. And if you kick that thinking down the line, it's only going to cost you more and more and more money, because his money is going to escalate. As I think he's another lad who's going to have a real big World Cup.
Yeah, I think he'll be huge for England. I really do, and I've said it before. I think England will go. I think England could do well in this World Cup. Albeit it'll be difficult with the heat, but I think England could at least get to the semi-finals, and I wouldn't be surprised. I don't want to, set them off. I don't want them thinking it's coming home or at them, but it wouldn't shock me. I think the England squad, if you can get everybody fit, I think the England squad is phenomenal. I think it's possibly the best squad of international players. I know we talk about that soft centre at the, in the centre back role, obviously, but if you can put a Rice in front of a Fikayo Tomori and a someone else maybe, and you've got wing backs like the boy Reece James, like Alexander Arnold, like a Luke Shaw, like a Ben Chilwell, a couple of other good footballers. Harry Kane's going to get you goals. You've got Sakas, you've got Sancho's, you've got Sterling's, you've got Foden's, you've got Grealish. Like it's phenomenal quality, really is. Like
in terms of the blend of youth and experience, is this probably the strongest squad they've potentially had?
I think so. Yeah,
in terms in terms of depth as well.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Because I think when you look at guys, we spoke about it. Like you've got a Foden. If Foden's injured, you can play a Grealish. If Grealish is injured, you can play a Maddison. Like if Maddison is injured, you can play a Ward-Prowse. Like you're going 3-4 players down the line, and you're still picking out these guys. Going, Jesus, but look at the right back slot: Alexander-Arnold, Kyle Walker, Reece James, and Kieran Trippier. Like on the opposite side, the left back, you got the boy James Justin, you got Luke Shaw, you got Chilwell, you got goalkeepers in Ramsdale, Pope, Henderson, Pickford. Like you've Calvin Phillips, you've Rice, you've Henderson, you've Jude Bellingham, you've James Ward-Prowse. Like really and truly, this England squad is bordering on scary. The only thing they're short of is a quality pairing at centre back. And that's why generally they play with three to be a little more, a little tighter. I don't know if they'd be better off playing with two centre backs and just playing with the two holding midfielders and having it done with. Playing for Calvin Phillips and playing Rice, and and at least, and then having a little more up top, having a 10 in behind, having Foden in behind a Harry Kane, and then have a Mount on a left and a Saka on the right, or a Jared Bowen. Like, look at how many names we put out here. This is genuinely scary how good this England squad is. Conor Gallagher, the boy Mark Gahey at centre back, unbelievable.
Yeah, I think, do you know something? If they had a manager that sent them out there to play without the fear of defeat or conceding, they'd be unbelievable, wouldn't they? If they went out there, as you mentioned it before, they should have really beaten that Italian side, shouldn't they? And laid down that bit of history, shouldn't they?
They'd everything in the bank to beat that Italian team. but they were riddled with fear on the night, and obviously it's tough. You go into a home game, a home final like that, and everybody gets their expectations up. But they were let down, and there was flaws in that game plan to go out and beat Italy. They should have gone to blitz Italy with that speed and with that power that they have, and they didn't. They played a game that Italy could win, and guess what happened? Italy won.
Yeah, absolutely. Great shape there by David as well. David, welcome to the
Yeah,
show. David's a huge supporter of the channel and the podcast. Always comments and stuff like that. Loves the content. Really appreciate your
he
support,
is.
David. Keep it up. Absolutely top notch, top guy
Yeah.
altogether there with comments and stuff like that. So brilliant stuff. Yeah, let's this breaks my heart even more. It was bad enough last week. I had to deal with all those pictures of Sadio Mane in Bayern Munich shirts and all that kind of stuff going on. That brought me down. But Liverpool are now calculating Mohamed Salah's risk as Klopp potentially eyes a replacement, and they've stuck a 60 million price tag on him. I often worry when teams put price tags on players, that means that people are inquiring and something's potentially going to happen. And this triggered me somewhat in terms of you were speaking earlier about Danjuma, and I was thinking, you know,
Yeah, I suppose your only problem with Danjuma is he predominantly plays from the left, which Diaz does as well. Now, I know
yeah,
obviously you've got Jota and you've got Nunez and you've got the boy Carvalho. I think you should be looking for somebody slightly different. Again, if you could, like, and I know we spoke about it before, I know you've mentioned about levels and stuff like that. If you were going to go with a Darwin Nunez through the middle and you were going to go with a Luis Diaz from the left, and let's say Mohamed Salah was to walk out the door and you got 60 million in the bank from, I'd be taking that 60 million and I'd be putting it in a little bag and I'd be bringing it right to West Ham's door and I'd be saying, see that lad there, Jared Bowen, we'll give you this 60 million and we'll take him out of your team because he would be absolutely different
hmm,
gravy in a Liverpool jersey.
yeah.
Different gravy.
The talk last night was we were linked to Otavio. You know, the guy who played
Yes,
against us
saw
in the
that.
Champions League. He was
Saw it,
playing
yeah.
really, really well. He was running the show. And then
He was
remember he
injured.
got injured. He got
That's
injured
what
and he
I'm
had to
saying.
go off.
Yeah,
And then it was a huge difference after that. But
yeah.
yeah, I like to look at that. But I wonder is Liverpool's thinking, and I'm not too sure. The more I think about it now, is the plan is you're not going to replace what Mo Salah brings you, no matter who you bring in. You know, that
No.
40 plus GA every season practically. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
for a guy who's a winger, you know what I mean? It's very difficult to replace that. But I wonder are they shifting in terms of their thinking that it's going to be wingers, but it's as you said, the boy Nunez up the middle. He's going to be the guy rifling the ball into the back of the net
Yeah,
more
well,
often, and that there'll be
tip,
less reliance on what Mo Salah has to do or what Luis Diaz has to do or something like that. You know?
absolutely. I mean, typically the focal point of that Liverpool team was Roberto Firmino when he was fit and when he was healthy, and he tied Mane and Salah together. I think, as you say, this could be the opposite. This could be a Diaz and a Bowen creating for the likes of a Nunez, because I don't believe you go and you pay all that money for Nunez and not have him as your focal point. Now, that's obviously going to take a little bit away from the wingers, which means then you're looking for guys who are maybe, let's say, you want 20 and 20 assists rather than 30 goals and 10 assists because you want the ball in the middle of the box for a Nunez, who's obviously going to win an awful lot of headers, who's going to put an awful lot of balls in from inside the width of those posts and stuff like that. I think Bowen would be amazing. I'd love. Well, I don't know whether I say love. Love's a strong word, and I get to Liverpool, but I think I would enjoy watching a Jared Bowen and a Luis Diaz flank at Darwin Nunez. I think that could be scary good, if I'm honest. And that's like taking out, that's your original three gone. That's Sadio, that's Salah, and that's Firmino, all gone, all been replaced, and you're still up where you were previously. You've got all those big wages off the bill. Now listen, the lads are all going to be on good money, but they're not going to be on the money that Bobby, that Sadio, and that Mohamed are on. So you clear the decks in that sense of a little bit. You probably keep a little bit in reserve for next year for when you go for 100 million Jude Bellingham, that you go, we can offer this kid 250 a week because we've cleared so much money off the wage bill. You know what I mean? And they've
Yeah.
rejuvenated the squad. It's a younger, fresher squad as well.
Yeah. Let's swap seats here for a second, right? You know my thoughts on this. Mo Salah. With what you know today, another contract offer had gone in, an improved contract offer. Seems to have
Mm-hmm.
been turned down by the looks of things.
Yeah.
We know that Liverpool have now put a 60 million price tag on his head. Here's the question for you: yes or no? Does Mo Salah wear the Liverpool jersey come August and tog out for Liverpool, or do you believe he'll be gone?
I believe he'll be gone.
That's my thinking. My thinking is there's
I
no way.
just, I just don't see Liverpool allowing themselves into a situation where he walks away for free. I think that will be catastrophic. And I think if we look at what they've done in the market over the last number of years and all of the really good decisions they've made in the market, and if we look at them even in an opposition to, let's say, United, United have let a Paul Pogba leave. Liverpool aren't going to look at, and let's be honest, Pogba wasn't half of the influence at United that Salah is at Liverpool. Liverpool aren't going to look down the road and say, well, that lad's just left United. They paid 90 million from, they got not a lot out of him, and they got nothing out as a cash out option. We've got Salah. We paid whatever we paid for him. He's done everything he could have done since he's been here. He's won us a league trophy. He's won us a Champions League trophy. He's won us absolutely everything. And we can still cash out at the end of the day with a £60 million windfall and move on to the next. I don't think Liverpool will make that mistake. I think it's a very simple option for them.
Yeah, look, as much as I love Mo Salah, and as much as I think he would be professional, and as much as I think, I don't know whether a guy in that mindset can stick around for a year, and just human nature will tell you that it's just not going to feel right. It's going to feel weird. It'll feel weird in training. It'll feel weird when you take to the pitch. It'll
Absolutely.
just feel strange, and I just think it needs to be sorted. And I hope that they sort it early, so it gives
Yeah.
them an opportunity if they do want to bring someone in, not this last minute thing. But we'll say we know. Obviously, Klopp obviously knows that this is coming down the line, and it's going to be another sad day. I mean, to see Mo Salah talking out in another jersey as well as much. I mean, I loved Mane as well. I loved them equally as much, but to see them in different jerseys, it's going to be heartbreaking. But yeah.
Sorry, I've just had one of the boys on the phone. He just hit me up, told me I have to give him a shout out because he's watching us as well. Dylan McNulty, fellow goalkeeper, really good goalkeeper actually. Dylan was over with Cambridge as a youth, and now plays in goal for the first team at Malahide United. Pretty sure he got Player of the Year there this year, and they won one of the leagues or the cups. But Dylan's a good buddy of mine. He's watching. He wanted to shout out as well. Dylan, don't forget, come on, join in and hit us up in the comments, pal, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yep. And if anyone wants to come on and either grill us or talk about something, there is the link that you need is now in the comments. So anyone who wants to come on, there's your link. You can pop on. You can even leave your camera off if you want it, but I can guarantee if you're coming on with us two on here, you're going to look better than either of us. Maybe not you. You're looking very tan there now. You look well. I'm a bit whited out, but it's just I'm still trying to figure out podcast lighting and stuff like that.
I look fucking great. What are you talking about, man? And I haven't even had my haircut. I'm getting that done Thursday morning, man. I look bleeding mint. Yeah, I'm a bit of a chunky. I'm a bit of a chunky monkey, like, but as fat lads go, I look fucking great. I'll tell you
that. Right, let's. I was going to say let's move on from that. We need to talk about Chelsea. Number of things to be spoken about. Obviously, they were trying to put together some sort of a deal entwining these two. I know these deals are always so difficult, aren't they? Like it's a strange one, but we'll discuss that. But we also have to talk about Peter Cech has left the building as well.
Has he checked out?
He has checked out, as they say. This was an interesting one. Apparently he was, and this was reported, not sure how true it was, but apparently he was recommending that they keep Romelu Lukaku.
Sorry. I've just seen David's comment. If Liverpool managed to replace that tree with Diaz, Nunez, and Bowen, I'd go and find the nearest bridge. I'm telling you, David. I mean, and they've got two of the three. Take the truck with the 60 million in the back of it. Go and reverse it up to the it's not the Upton Park or the bowling ground anymore. That Olympic Stadium. Back it up and say, lads, there's 60 million. Just throw your man Bowen in the front seat there, will you? What a front three that'd be. Go on,
Well,
back to Chelsea.
the only thing I'll say to that, David, is don't go find the nearest bridge, because we love your comments and we love your interaction. So stick with us. Don't go near any bridges. But yeah, I wonder, are we waiting for them to get all the money in from Rice? And when they get all the money in from Rice, then they might turn around and go, "Oh, you want Jared Bowen? 35 or 40 be okay. We're drenched in cash here from Declan Rice, maybe, you
I
know."
doubt it.
Knowing us, we probably get Jared Bowen off them for 25, paid over 50 years or something like that. You know the way we operate when it comes to these deals.
And a
But
couple of those stickers now, the Frosties for the front wheel of your BMX, like.
that's it, yeah. Or those flappy things that used
The
to go into your
reflectors.
spokes, remember?
The
Yeah,
reflectors,
yeah.
yeah, the
Remember those?
reflectors.
Jeez, it's a real callback now, isn't it? Peter Cech, first of all, he had recommended that they keep Romelu Lukaku, and I presume try and figure it out or whatever it is. You know what I mean? What you're thinking on that? I mean, I suppose I know it, but
Well, listen, here's the thing. If two fat blokes having a yap on a Monday night now that Lukaku's not going to work, why doesn't a guy like Peter Cech, who's is a very intellectual footballer, you know, very intelligent footballer, done some great work there at Chelsea, what does he see that we don't? Because let's be honest, there's times at Chelsea, at United, you know, at Everton, Lukaku just looked disinterested, you know, looked like a guy who had a chip on his shoulder, who didn't want to pull in the right direction. Yeah, there's been times when he's looked like a worldie against Ireland for Belgium, but you know, most of the time he's looked like an absolute chump. He's always gone missing in those big games. We spoke about it last year. We said in the big 6 games he'd go missing, and he did. He didn't cover himself in glory yet again. In those top 6 games, you know, I can't believe Cech came out and said something like this. And to be honest with you, if I'm Todd Bowley and Cech comes out and says this, I probably think, well, we have to have a chat here, pal. Because if that's the way you think about things, and if that's the direction that you want us to go in, we need to change direction, because that's not going to work for me.
yeah. Before we talk about the deal there that's on the screen that was spoken about, we've also heard reports coming in. The Ousmane Dembele,
Yeah.
apparently is unimpressed with both the signing on fee and the wages that was offered.
So they've lowballed him.
Well, that's what the report is more or less saying. So
Yeah. And listen, to be honest with you, with a guy that's made out of, you know, paper mache, I think he's lucky he got an offer at all, with maybe, you know, 150 on the table and a 3 million signing on fee. I think he can count himself lucky. I know Barcelona paid an awful lot of money for him, but he's played so few games. It's scary. The kid's been injured more than he's played. He's about a step away from being the new Owen Hargreaves, and he thinks he needs, you know, a massive signing on fee and massive wages. I think if he was any type of a baller and he backed himself, he'd go in on a really small deal. He'd go in on a really small signing on fee, and he'd back himself and he'd say, you know what, I'll take these small fees, but I want big bonuses when I hit the numbers, when I play 20 games, when I make 10 assists, when I score 10 goals. That's when you're going to pay me the big bucks. If you're a baller, you'll go out and you'll prove yourself and bonus them up to the hilt.
And you would think the move to Chelsea would be a fantastic opportunity for him, because Barca's been a nightmare for him.
It has, but if you think about Barca, right? Barca's been a nightmare for him, and Spain's not a physical league. What happens to that kid if he comes to London and Chelsea and it's physical, and he's got to go to Notts Forest on a Tuesday night on the 2nd of December and get lumps kicked out of him by Nico Williams, who's probably going to be at full Forest at that stage? The kid's going to be in pieces. You know, someone's going to have to put him back together again, be like Humpty Dumpty. I think he's right where
your recommendation is Chelsea stay away from him?
Well, you know what I think it is? I think Dembele knows if he goes to Chelsea, he's going to get found out. And I think if you go to a Barca and things don't work out for you, and you step down and you go to a Chelsea and things don't work out for you again, where are you ending up after that? You know, are you going to Benfica? Are you heading to Ajax? You know, you're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere else, really. You know, and I think he'll go in somewhere. I think he'll go in somewhere comfortable where he knows things will work. I wouldn't be surprised to see him at PSG. You know, I wouldn't be surprised to see him at PSG at all. I think you could add something there, maybe where Di Maria is left out. You could play that Di Maria role. Come on and the last 30 minutes of games, get involved, couple of assists with the boys up front. Let's be honest, my granny hasn't kicked the ball in 20 years. She could get assists for Neymar and Mbappe and Messi, so it's not a tough job there. I think he'll find himself in a much cushier role than he will at Chelsea.
Yeah. So the deal that's on the screen there that's being spoken about, Matthijs de Ligt, they want to bring in. Obviously, things have cooled with Koundé and things have cooled with Koulibaly, as far as I know. So they've switched to this guy here, and they're trying to wrap Timo partly into the deal or something like that. That was the talk. That'd be a tough deal to get over the line, wouldn't
it? I don't know. I think there's a lot to like about Werner. Certainly from his work rate point of view, the guy's going to get in behind because he's absolutely lightning quick. He's still scoring goals on the international front for Germany. I think it's not worked out for him in the Premier League. Could I see him doing a job for Juve? Absolutely. Let's not forget, you've got guys like Juan Cuadrado at Juventus, who was very, very poor at Chelsea. And he's one of the first names on the team sheet week to week at Juve. So it's a very, very different level. I think if you're going in with a guy like a Timo Werner into a Serie A, he's going to get you a lot of goals, because I think there's so little pace in Serie A. If he gets on the back of those centre backs and he gets a little step ahead of them, he's in. And I think he's got so much time, even he'll score goals. In the Premier League, you've always got the defender right on your arse, ready to take your legs out. So you have to rush to finish. You need to get the ball out of your feet quickly. I don't think that happens in Italy. I think there's a lot of little one touch in behind, and you've got time to just sit the keeper on his arse. I think Ver could do well,
Yeah, interesting. Now, where else do we want to go? What's next for us? 25 years. 25 years, Darren, since Teddy Sheringham signed for Manchester United. It's frozen again. Frozen out. Thomas Tuchel messing around with Darren's Wi-Fi. Not happy with what he's hearing. Yeah, but I wanted to get Darren's thoughts on 25 years since Teddy Sheringham signed for Man United. What a signing he was. Came in, was absolutely brilliant for Man United. Pivotal in a lot of success at that stage and stuff like that. So what a signing he was. Let's move on then, and let's talk about. Spoke about Tottenham. Spoke about Dembele. Spoke about George Mendes. Bayern naming their price tag for Robert Lewandowski. 52 million. 52 million they pitched him at. Absolutely massive price. But what a player. What a player. And should we be surprised? But I think if they're going to go in, and if he is going to move and he's going to get his move to Barcelona, they originally were talking somewhere around 35. They've pitched him at 52. I think somewhere around 42 to 45 would probably get him over the line. He's made it clear that he wants to leave. And I don't see a situation where you can come back from that situation realistically. And I think that's why they've put the price tag on him, because they think that business is going to happen. Of course, this is all hinging on Barcelona with what they have to do. It's a big week coming up for them financially and stuff, and what they have to report and getting this go ahead and getting over the line in terms of these finances. But we will see what happens. David's back in here again. Shockingly, only scored 4 league goals in the treble season, but was a fantastic player. Love Teddy. Yeah, absolutely, David. But it was just the goals. I mean, the goals that he scored are historical at this stage. Remember that Champions League final and stuff like that against Bayern was, with the goal and the assist and stuff like that. He was just unbelievable. So pivotal off the bench in that treble winning season. Heck of a player. And of course you have to remember he went to United kind of in the twilight of his career as well. But Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, what a player. But yeah, great show. Um, yeah, just waiting for Darren to come back on there. His Wi-Fi went a little bit rickety, but we were talking about Lewandowski, 52 million. Just get Darren back on here again. He's after coming back. Welcome back, sir.
Wouldn't be me if I didn't do the disappearing act, would it?
I'm gonna bring David's comment up again. Just before you went there, I was about to say 25 years to the day since Teddy Sheringham signed for Manchester United.
Wow,
And I
didn't
was saying,
realise.
yeah, 25 years to the day, apparently. Yeah, I snagged that today because I wanted to slide that in there for you.
Nice.
Unbelievable. Some absolutely pivotal goals and assists and stuff like that. And heck of a player, wasn't he?
Only scored 4 goals in the treble season. Wow. I'd have never
But,
said that,
but,
would you?
but you could argue the 4 goals that he scored were kind of the cream on top of that treble season cake, weren't they, really?
Well, he got one in the cup final against Newcastle, didn't he?
Yeah.
He got one in
And he
the
got
European Cup final.
and an assist.
And in the, you know what I mean? Yes, we did all right for ourselves, Teddy. Now, he's a great signing. Teddy was the epitome of an intelligent footballer, wasn't he? You know,
Yeah.
didn't have a whole lot when you look at, when you look for a guy that was built really well. You know, he hadn't got blistering pace. He wasn't great off both feet, but he worked his socks off. He was very, very clever. And he constantly, season after season, got better,
Yeah.
and that's so many players stagnate nowadays. They get to a level and they sit there. Teddy didn't. Teddy was a great son. It made up that 4-pronged attack that we had with Ollie and with Andy Cole and Dwight York. And I mean, those 4 lads basically won us that treble themselves nearly, didn't they? They scored so
Coleman.
many goals and assisted so many goals that season. It was ridiculous.
Cole
Absolutely
and York,
ridiculous.
Cole and York as a pairing were sensational, weren't they?
Yeah, they were phenomenal. They really were phenomenal. I remember we drew in the group stages. We played Barcelona, and we played Bayern Munich, and we played Bromby. Now we'd 4 draws in the group stage. We drew with Barca twice, 2-3-3s home and away. We drew with Bayern twice, and we beat Bromby like 5-0 and 6-1 or something. But so we qualified with 10 points out of that group, and then went on to win the Champions League. But the goals were ridiculous. Like if you go back and look at the goals home and away that United scored against Barcelona, we scored 6 goals in the group, 2-3-3 draws. Now, yeah, we conceded 6, but we scored 6. Look at the 6 goals. I know Beckham puts a couple of free kicks in, but the others are pretty much Cole and York in tandem, and they're absolutely ridiculous quality. Very, very good.
I don't know if you catch the video there the other day. I seen a video the other day, and it was like a split screen. So on one side it was Beckham. Remember he took the free kick against was it Greece
Yes,
for them to qualify.
that's
So
right.
one side is the footage of him taking the free kick, and the other side he's sitting there and he's watching it now.
Right.
And you want to
Yeah.
see you want to see the emotion on him. Like he was a mess of emotion watching himself do that. Like, you know what I mean? It's
That free
unbelievable.
kick was like that was his moment, that redemption.
Yeah,
After everything that happened with Diego Simeone and stuff like that, and the effigies have been burnt in the stadiums of Beckham and stuff like that, he had his detractors because of the off-field stuff with Victoria and the fashion and wearing the sarongs and the biker gear and all of this, and then eventually he gets this opportunity to captain England, and he turns into Captain Fantastic for England. He really did. His performances were amazing. He scored a lot of very important goals. That penalty against Argentina at the World Cup and stuff. And then that free kick against Greece is it's out of this world, really.
yeah.
I know what you're smiling about. I know I can see who's just snuck into the building.
Look, he was just dropped into the building. Let him know. Listen, if you want to come on, hang on. We're not letting this guy off the hook. If this guy's available, he's coming on. This guy has to share the screen with you tonight. Here, what's the bleeding cracked elbow? There's the link. Jump on. Dazzler wants to have a word with you. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, he must have heard we were talking about him earlier, was he?
He must
Del
have.
boy, I was bigging up your channel, Del Boy. I was talking about you. It's content you're putting out there, absolutely going ballistic. So if you want to jump on, there's the link. Jump on if you want. I'll get you in here and we can have a chat about Arsenal if you like. We're here if you want to jump on.
We're not talking about Arsenal again, no, for fuck's sake, pal. They've only got 12 fans. Like, talking about them twice in the one night, it's a bit counterproductive, isn't it?
12 fans, you're trying to draw them out now, are you? You're trying to draw them out now, big time, are you? Get on here quick and defend your team, Del Boy, and your fan base.
I don't think anyone can defend that fan base. That Arsenal TV is absolutely horrific. They need to be.
He's in agreement with you.
They need to be lined up outside of the Emirates and shot with balls around shy. Them lads are absolute mongs. 110%.
While you're away as well, I mentioned Bayern Munich have put a price tag on Robert Lewandowski, 52 million. There was talk Barca were going in at kind of 35. They put 52 on it. Where do you think? And somewhere around the 40, 42?
Yeah, I'd say you're talking somewhere between 42 and 47, and it'll be done. You know, I think that's where the compromise is, isn't it? I think obviously Bayern brought in Sadio Mane knowing there was a possibility that he was going to leave. I don't necessarily think they bought Mane in to play alongside him. I know that's the party line, so to speak, but I don't think it'll happen. I think Lewandowski will end up at Barcelona and Mane will end up being his replacement. The one thing I will say about Bayern Munich, they are having quite a good transfer window at the minute. They've made a couple of good signings, but there is a little bit of speculation around one Serge Gnabry. I don't know whether you've seen this or not yet. There's an offer been put on the table, and apparently Serge has said at the minute he's not comfortable at where it is. So he's looking for a little more. But Bayern have basically said, listen, this is where we at on this. If you're not going to put pen to paper,
bricks,
you're going to be shown the door. So we'll have to wait and see. That's going to be interesting. I mean, there's a lot of clubs, especially in that Premier League, that would love to get a look at Serge Gnabry. He's been very, very good for Bayern and for Germany over the last couple of years. You know, we've seen him put 4 past Spurs one night, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. We were looking at we were having a look at him as well at one stage, as far as I know. And pending how things unfold, that could still be something we might go and look at again.
Absolutely.
Let's finish up at Newcastle. We know this project is one with Eddie Howe that we're kind of enjoying somewhat, but
I gotta say, I love how Newcastle are doing their business. I'm so impressed with them. I really, really am. Del Boy, we'll hit you up another night, pal. Don't you worry. We'll have a bit of crack on here. But I think Newcastle are just plotting their way from signing to signing. I think it's very clever. Look at what they've done at the minute. The boy Matt Target came in, did a good job for them. They made the deal permanent. They go in, they're looking at Dean Henderson. The prices that United were mentioning for Henderson were up at 30, 40 million. They go and get Nick Pope at Burnley, 12 million. That's a steal. Steal.
Should be done for robbery.
Great piece of business. And now they've come in and now they're getting the boy Sven Botman, 37 million. Now this price has gone up, down, left, right, back and forth. Eddie Howe's getting his man at 37 million. This kid's a super centre-back. He's mobile. He's good on the ball. He's a good communicator. This is a great piece of the jigsaw for Newcastle. You're talking Nick Pope, Kieran Trippier, Matt Target, maybe the boy Dan Burn, and Sven Botman as a back 5 next season. You've got a lot in there. You got 2 guys that get the ball in very, very well from those fullback positions. You've got the boy Bourne who likes to go and attack the ball. You've got Botman who can do a lot of the sweep up at the back and he come out with the ball. You've got Pope, good shot stopper in there. I love what Newcastle are doing. And I love that because they have money in the bank, they're not being ridden and they're not being saddled and they're not necessarily going and throwing mega bucks at anyone. They're just plotting their way along that chessboard. And it's great work from the Newcastle board. That's great business for them.
I don't know if you've seen it today, but Botman arrived today for his medical.
Yeah.
But he put a post up on Instagram and he wrote, "It's showtime." And I thought it was really cool. You know what I mean? Bit of personality as well, which is what
Yeah,
you
yeah.
really want, isn't it?
Listen, like we all like and we all enjoy when our team wins. But you also want a team. You also want your team to go out there and entertain you. I know I've heard numerous occasions where they spoke about, inside the United dressing room and stuff like that, and they said, "Oh, Ferguson, he was a tactical magician, was he?" And the lads, apparently one of the comments that kept coming up all the time was at half time. If things weren't going their way, he'd say, "Go out and put a smile on the fans' faces. Go and entertain them." And all of a sudden, when they were let off the leash, when they were told to go and entertain, go and enjoy themselves, and they had personalities in the team, they went and they tore teams apart and they tore matches around, or they got a last gap victory, all because they were there to entertain and they were there to. So you need showmen. You need somebody sitting at home is going to say, "I want to go and watch that fella because he's going to put bums on seats." Now we know up at Newcastle. Here's the thing: they never have a problem selling seats. Newcastle's fan base is one of the best in the league. It always has been. They were selling 40,000 season tickets when they were fighting relegation. So Newcastle are a massive club. We talked about this coming to Newcastle and the money and stuff like that. Like, I don't know if I could have. Don't know if there's any other sides that could have been any happier, and a fan base that could have been any happier than Newcastle for this to happen. I'd love to see Newcastle win a trophy. I really, really would. I think their fans deserve it. I think they're good football fans. They're good work people.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I tend to agree with you. Just a bit of housekeeping before we go, obviously, because I think unless you have anything to add, I think I've exhausted everything tonight. Um,
Now we good.
Thurs Thursday we'll be back with Thursday tier talk. I know last week we did Friday tier talk, but it should have been Thursday. But between StreamYard and YouTube, they weren't liking us on
We had
Thursday.
some technical issues.
Absolutely, some
Imagine,
gremlins
imagine
in
we're
the
at,
wiring.
imagine we're at the stage in our life now when we can say, "Sorry about that. We had technical issues."
Yeah, that's it. We'll get on to our producer.
Yeah,
Yeah, but we will be back this Thursday, another live show, Thursday Tier Talk. Stay tuned for that. We're going to be talking all things football, not just transfers. Hopefully, stuff outside of transfers, or hopefully a few transfers have happened at this stage. Because I'm not this
yeah.
transfer. I don't know about you, but this transfer window, it's wearing on me at this stage because I don't know whether I'm anticipating deals quicker or whatever it is, but it's a slow burn, isn't it?
Oh well, what's very tough is United obviously come back to pre-season training today, and there's still nobody. So that's tough. But listen, this window doesn't close until the 1st of September, as we said last week. It's gonna be a long, slow. We've got almost 10 weeks left of this window, so there's plenty of time for stuff to happen. I think
Yeah.
everybody just needs to let this simmer a little bit, and I think then when we taste it at the end, it might taste all the sweeter if we just let it simmer for a little bit longer.
Brilliant stuff. Appreciate that, Del. As our viewers are saying to and your subscribers, get over there, Del Boy Gunner TV. Hit that
Yeah,
subscribe and like button on all his stuff. That man will keep you entertained. His views on Arsenal and stuff like that. Brilliant guy, and we're going to have him on the show and stuff like that. He was on already, did a transfer show with me there a few weeks ago and stuff like that. It was really good. Darren wasn't available. So we had a great night talking about transfers and stuff like that. Definitely going to get him on more. Um, but yeah, I suppose Thursday we'll be back with another live show, Thursday Tier Talk. So be talking
mm-hmm.
all things football. Tomorrow we're going to be releasing a show that we recorded, myself and Mark. Our combined 11s, our worst combined 11s, both for Liverpool and Man United. So Mark did Man United and I did Liverpool. We're also going to be releasing some footage. Mark was playing in goals at the weekend for the Manchester United Legends against Maynooth Town. It was a big fundraising event they're trying to put in an Astro pitch and stuff like that in Newtown. So all the legends were over. Keith Gillespie, uh, Quentin Fortune, Dennis Irwin, they were all over. So Mark got footage with all the boys and stuff like that. Brian McClare, Wes Brown, they had a serious kid out on there. One of the guys actually hit me.
Clayton Blackmore, Lee Martin, Lee
Clayton
Sharp.
Blackmore. Yeah, there was some serious players over. And one of the lads hit me up on TikTok, actually. He found our old video from the night we did in the Glen Wild, Darren. And he
Yep.
was saying that, he goes, I was at this match today. He said it was brilliant. I said, I know, I was supposed to be there, but I couldn't go. But he said he had a great day. He said the Man United team were unbelievable. And his comment was, they can still move. No doubt. So look forward to that. We should have a video for you later on in the week with some of the footage and stuff like that. Mark has sent me some of it already, and it's really, really funny. Some good stuff on it. We're just waiting on some shout outs to come through from some of the players and stuff like that. So that should be a bit of crack. If you want to contact the show, it's the upper tier podcast at gmail.com. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, audio shows on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music. You'll find us. You cannot miss. We're everywhere at this stage. So if you want to hit up the show, if you want to come on the show, if anyone wants to appear on the show, we always drop the links in there. Feel free to come on. You don't have to come on your camera if you don't want to. You come on just audio if you prefer. We always welcome anyone coming in. Appreciate absolutely everyone who has come on. There's a man of my own heart, Dave's LFC Chats. Dave, how we doing, man? Big up. Good to see you. Thanks for joining the chat there. We're just about to end the stream, but we will have a live Thursday tier talk coming to you. Not sure what time. It's normally around the same time as this one on a Thursday, I would imagine. Or there.
I need to make sure I'm sitting on my wallet if the two Scousers in the room, don't we?
Oh, I tell you, man. Do you hear that, Dave? Sitting on his wallet. He's worried one of us is going to take his wallet, huh? But yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's it. Appreciate you being on. Appreciate everyone in the chat. If you can, before you go, smash that like and subscribe button. We're on the road to try and get monetized as well. Definitely, Dave. Definitely have you on soon. Hit me up, man. Let me know when you want to come on. Absolutely, we'll have a good chat about Liverpool. I have a lot to get off my chest about Liverpool. Just check out my Twitter today. I am not a happy bunny at the moment.
Ooh, all right,
yeah,
princess.
Absolutely. As much as I'm enjoying it, some aspects of it are hurting, let's say. Yeah, but that's it. Till next time, big up to everyone in the comments who took part. Big up to everyone who's supporting the channel. And we will catch you on the flip side on Thursday.
I'm out. I'm going to watch Love Island.
Oh my God.